They don't want you to know this. What if I told you there's a hidden library that holds everything from the past, present, and future? It's called the Akashic Records. Imagine a database where every thought, action, and experience of...
You're constantly procrastinating because you don't have a vision that keeps you motivated. So, visualize a life with no limitations to what you can achieve. Write this vision and a letter to your future self, detailing all of your achievements. Identify your core values to align them with your future goals. Break your vision into specific goals, making your dreams more attainable. Connect with why your goals are important to you and use that motivation to fuel your actions. And this is how you stop procrastinating.
Let's get it, man. We are the initiates for the flame. Please join the Discord. Link is in the description or scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner. My name is Kyrie. I'm an author, astrologer, and healer representing hoodmystic.com. I got my homeboys, my friends, my brothers, my partners on the set, and we're going to just go through Chapter 1 of the Mastermind by Theron Q. Dumont. And if you want to join us, please join the Discord. We're going to do this every week. We have a stringent layout, a weekly layout of things that we're going to be talking about. After the 11 weeks, we'll unveil another aspect that we're going to be another series of content that we'll be releasing, just more or less just weekly lessons, book reports, book studies on how to master our mind, but also how to accomplish our goals. Because the reality of this thing is that we should never, ever stop learning. But let me stop yapping and pass the mic to my co-hosts, let them introduce themselves and just share whatever they feel like sharing with the collective. Probably about some products that should be dropping this week at some point, maybe. I don't know.
Peace to the family. Welcome. My name is Alex. A lot of people call me AD. I hope you enjoy tonight. The Mastermind is something we've been having working through. So have your notebooks out, and also after the live, be having words for questions. And check out cultivate.co. We got some things coming up, so be ready to tap into the flame. I'm ready to go, man. I think tonight is gonna be pretty fire. I know it's gonna be fire.
Yes, sir.
It's the flame, man.
Peace. I go by Breeze. You can find me on Instagram at Jabriji, which is JABRIJI. I'm an inspiring jazz musician, an occultist. And, you know, from those things, that's where everything springs out. Alchemist by night, chemical engineer by day. I love to help people. And I love to learn more about how I can master my mind and my energy in order to be of some service to others, even if it's just one person.
Sacred Serpent, Sacred Dark Serpent. I appreciate you all allowing us this space once again. Want to give love to the ancestors, known and unknown. Also, I would like to give a shout out to the initiates for the flame, whiterabbitsite.com, columbianexchange.com. Also, Blue Magic is available right now. But also, we have something coming down the pike, or I have something coming down the pike with the initiates, and it's called the Flame Pill. You'll see it within the next 48 hours or so. I'm just working out some kinks with the website. Outside of that, it's a very important pill. It's a pill that everybody will be able to use and benefit from. It's a combination of ashwagandha, tonga, ali, lion's mane, and black maca root. Yeah, so if you know, you know. You don't need no chewables with this. Just get it in your system and you all the way there. Having said all of that, I'm really excited about this mastermind group. I'm really excited about continuing to grow and expand with these brothers right here, and with anybody who wants to jump on this train and come along for the ride with this journey. Like I said, I do appreciate you guys for the time and the space. And please, please remember to leave your ego at the door. I share.
Leave your ego at the door and join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. I heard a lot of scam artist spiritualists say things 3 times so it can go into your subconscious mind. So I think I'd give it a try.
Cool.
Anyways, outside of somebody was coming in, I was just making sure it wasn't a robber. But anyways, we're going to be talking about The Mastermind, a book by Theron Q. Dumont. Please join the Discord. We have the free PDF. I'm reading this on Everend. We're going to cover a chapter a week. After we're finished with this book, we come in right back with another book. If y'all have an idea of a book, maybe join the Discord and say, man, after this book, we should do this book. And maybe we'll do the book that you say. But that's the point of joining the Discord, which is kind of a larger mastermind, a group of spiritual people coming together, having spiritual conversation for the upliftment of each other. So without further ado, let's get into this build. How it's going to work. We have 9 points. I'm going to just go through each point and then open the floor for discussion on each point. And then at the end of it all, open it up to Q&A. The link, if you want to join, you can join the Discord. The link is in the Discord. So if you want to, add 2 cents into the conversation or maybe get some advice on how you can move forward utilizing your mind and how powerful your mind is outside of all things. So once again, without further ado, the 9 subject matters that we're going to be talking about tonight is 1, how does the mind work? Number 2, what is the difference between a mastermind and an ordinary mind? Number 3, the 3 stages of mental development. Number 4, the consequences of an uncontrolled mind. Number 5, exorcism of negative thoughts. Number 6, conflict between meditation and worry. Number 7, control of thought is the control of your desires. Number 8, when you have scattered thoughts and the local or natural self, how those things disrupt you. And finally, number 9, learning the creation of a world through the master mind, which is very powerful because you can create the world with your mind. So, point number 1, how does the mind work? So I started this off with a journal prompt for those who are taking notes. The best way to benefit from this is to take notes, is to really get an idea of what you truly want. Because the reality of it is once you have a focus of what you truly want, your brain, your mind, your ancestors, your soul starts moving you in that direction. Many people don't know what they actually want. So what in the chat if y'all with me, one's in the chat if y'all can hear me okay, but add to the conversation, what does master your mind look like, right? So once again, the conversation in reference to how your mind work will be pragmatic because there's a lot of scam artists, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo talkers, and that is the opposite of pragmatism, right? What does it mean to be pragmatic? Is it successful? Does it work? Right? In reference to your mind and teaching you about your mind, it should be able to translate into actual knowledge that you can use to become successful in what it is that you want to accomplish. This is the difference between everything else. If I'm like, all right, it costs $80, I'm still not pragmatic because I'm not even proving that what it is that I'm saying to you is successful. Essentially, I just want that $80. So the way to describe pragmatism is yeah, you can walk in high heels or hike in high heels, but the pragmatic thing would to be wear hiking boots. Another example would be, yeah, you can drive to California without GPS, but the pragmatic thing to do would be to have a GPS. So, in utilizing your mind and coming into this study and reading this first chapter and this first introduction, like, how did y'all, if y'all took notes or like in reference to this first section when he was talking about, did y'all peep the pragmatism? Did y'all do research on that, or did y'all already know what that was talking about? Because I personally had to like dig deep to even figure out what he meant by the book was going to be pragmatic.
Yeah, I looked into it because, like, when you think of the opposite of pragmatic is idealism, belief that the reality is made up of only ideas. You know what I'm saying? A tendency to represent things in ideal form. So it's just like pragmatic actually helps you see the problem and adjust it. It's like business. When you step to business, you have to have really see the real ideal of things going on, like, and actually present it in front of you. Like with the hiking, what are the things you're gonna come across in hiking? Muddy roads, different terrain, rocks, right? So if you walk some high heels in that, you're gonna break your foot. It's gonna slip out. Your toe gonna get busted. It's gonna look. You're gonna have trench toe. You don't want that. So it's like understanding that view kind of had me seem like, okay, like, so now it's like really adjusting the mind to have a particular thought form.
Yeah.
As you say, gents.
AD Serpent, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. When I think of pragmatic, I think of for sure steps. Having a certain type of structure to get to an end goal. And I think that's how you have to be with your mind. I would even say that, your mind is almost like a toddler. It just wants what's in front of it, and it doesn't really care about the next day. It just wants to enjoy things, and it's used to enjoying things that are of comfort. I think you can enjoy being disciplined for something and taking your time, in a way where you're in a rhythm of doing what needs to be done. Um, that's what comes to mind for me with like pragmatic things. Um, and to just, what's on the screen right now, should your mind be focused or should it be scattered? I mean, I would say a focused mind is like a sharpened sword in being held by two hands, and a scattered mind is four dull swords in your two hands.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And you swinging them flat way too.
yeah, 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 exactly. You know,
Trying to flip a pancake or something with a sword, and it's just like, man. But that's how many people use their minds. They don't even like having this conversation and actually reading this book. Is like it really woke something up in me for real, to where I was like, yeah, this could actually change. This could be the change that I've been looking for in a very small, subtle way, because my
very
mind can get
subtle.
scattered very easily. Personally, like I could drift. What you think about it, Serpent?
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing, though, right? That the discipline part comes in where we all have minds that tend to drift, right? And if your idea of whatever it is that you're embarking on doesn't have any particular level of focus involved in it, then eventually, some way, somehow, your mind is going to drift off that thing that you're actually doing. Now, how much of a benefit is that to you, that your mind just wanders and drifts? I was when I was growing up, I used to think that That was the most fascinating thing about my mind, that I could just think about anything at any given time, whenever it came to mind. But the older you get, the more you start to understand that structure and discipline in a um, concentrated mind is everything. Because now I don't have to go to the deepest recesses of my mind in order to figure out a particular thing that I need to find out in order for me to do it. Because I already have the structure and the discipline in place, my mind is not going to wander into any of those things because I'm solely focused on the task at hand. So I think um, as a young person, growing up, drifting, your mind drifting, like you don't necessarily think about that until you come to a point where there's something that you have to do that's important and you forget about it, right? Um, some dates come up, some things that you have to miss, you have to make certain arrangements and things that you can't come through on for people or situations because you actually forgot about it because you allowed your mind to drift and wander. It's very easy for the mind to drift and wander. It's difficult for you to discipline your mind in a structured format and to stick to whatever particular thing that you're doing at that time. So I think um, the first chapter was extremely poignant and pointing to what's going to be required of you if you're trying to do this thing and be successful at it. It's going to be discipline, it's going to be structure, and it's going to be honing in on those things and not allowing the naysaying thoughts, so to speak, to take over. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, even in the first chapter when it was talking about just the mind, it was also talking about how you view your mind too. Like if you just feel like you have an analytical mind or you can adapt to things or you can see things, most people just gonna be like, nah, man, my mind don't like that, don't work like that, or my mind's I'm slow, or you gotta really watch what you think about your mind. 'Cause that affects it to a big point to controlling it.
100%. 100%. And it's so crazy. Understanding the power of your mind is going to level the playing field. If you ain't never had no woman, you ain't never had no money, you had a rough lot in life, you had a bad hand, dealt a bad hand, is what they like to say. Utilizing your mind and saying, whatever it is that I want, I'm actually going to focus on that and not the negative upbringing or the negative past or the trauma. That's the gist of the spiritual work, is mastering your mind. Like whenever whatever you want to do spiritually is going to come through the modality of mastering your mind. So remember that mastering your mind is focusing the mind to get the results that you want. So, you know, a lot of times we can just suffer in our iniquity and saying, "Oh, I just didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get what I desired." But the reality is that you can get it. And how would you get it? By actually understanding and focusing your mind. So, what is the difference between a mastermind and an ordinary mind? A mastermind is deliberately cultivated, consciously developed, and used with intentional effort. An ordinary mind is unconsciously developed and influenced by external forces without voluntary effort. And understanding or contemplating these two minds, what thoughts are conjured, and like what kind of advice or healing could y'all offer to the collective and differentiating between the master and the ordinary mind?
The first thing that comes to mind for me, point intended, is about the ordinary mind is like, you get up in the morning, you either go to school or go to work, and then once you get off, what do you do? Do you just kind of just drift? You scroll, you talk on the phone for 3 hours, You know what I mean? Like, what do you do during that time? I think that's the most important discipline part of your day, because a lot of times, because of circumstances, we going to school because, you know, your parents put you in school. You know, you ain't about to stay at home, and then work, you got to pay the bills, you know, and you can be disciplined with work and school, but can you be disciplined once you're out of there? You know, and for me, what helped me get out of an ordinary mindset is having a ritual and nothing complicated. You know, I go after work, I get home and I just restart my day. You know, I might take a 30-minute nap, I'll take a shower, I'll meditate just like I do before I start my day early in the morning. And then, you know, I'm gonna spend an hour working on this. I'm gonna spend an hour working on that, you know, um, because it's very easy to be on your phone, you know, and not just social media. I used to be on the chess app for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Just and for
Going
getting
crazy.
mad because I'm losing, yeah. Or and I look up, I didn't eat, I didn't take a shower, and oh shit, I got to go to bed so I can be up tomorrow for, you know, work on time.
Mm,
Um, and but now I put a limit on that app. I put a
mhm,
limit on Instagram. This
mhm.
is this is that being deliberate about what you're doing with your mind. You know what I mean? Like the age old quote, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. You know, so how can I make my mind something that's going to serve me and my purpose? You know, because it's plenty of things where it's just like it thrives off your attention. You know what I mean? The gossip thrives off your attention. You know, because I'll say this: you're not gonna let somebody run up to you and slap you. So why would you let somebody put information in front of your face and just um you know, fuck with you emotionally, you know what I
Absorb this,
mean?
nigga.
Yeah, you wouldn't let anybody just like, you know, sit you down and make you eat a bowl of tapioca or something like that, or you know what I
Never.
mean? You'd be like, get the fuck off me with the, you know, you should be the same way about information and people putting stuff in front of you, you know, and it's just about having a little bit of more authority over your mind, you know, and just understanding that it ain't even about um not letting information sway you. It's just about not even being in a mental place where you can even, you know what I mean, be overtaken by that information. And if you do, just set a limit on how much you willing to dedicate to politics or Instagram, you know, and then go about your day, you know, because none of that stuff is more important than the reason why you chose to be here in this time, in this present moment.
I say.
Yeah, it's the saying of you are what you eat, but if you rephrase that and think about something else, you are what you see, you are what you do, you are what you study. So that's going to affect your mind. So you can always look at it that type of way. You know what to intake and what not to intake.
You know you be on bullshit, right? You know you be on bullshit and you don't thwart anything within your everyday existence that booby traps you against you being on your own bullshit. What do I mean by that? Maybe you don't go to sleep with the phone in the bed at night. Maybe not jump up in the morning and let the phone be the first thing that you grab. Maybe
Right.
don't do the scrolling while you're just laying on your back, looking up at the ceiling, anticipating your day being whatever way you think it's going to be. You know you be on bullshit, but you don't set up parameters in place around your own bullshit. So if we're talking about the mind, and the mind is all, and the universe is mental. So what we're essentially saying is that if you master your mind, you master the universe, right? I would love to have the opportunity to be able to do that as opposed to me sitting and dwelling within the ordinary mind that just accepts everything, right? Because the ordinary mind just accepts everything. Whatever happens, you think it's supposed to happen. Whatever doesn't happen, you think it's just not supposed to happen. And within the ordinary mind, you learn to just make acceptances for whatever it is that shows up. When you're mastering your mind, the difference is that you actually get to control those different places and spaces that you not only put yourself in, but you also find yourself in when your mind is scattered and you're not paying attention. So I think if we're talking about solutions, shadow work, you know you be on bullshit. It's up to you to mimic your life around the bullshit that you know that you're gonna do, the things that you know you're gonna justify doing anyway, even though they are of zero benefit to you. You know, need to get high every day, need to drink, need to run the street. Let me sit around and gossip about a bunch of people that I don't even fucking know, it don't even matter. Like all of those different things. If you want to continue to do those things, then caring about a mastermind is irrelevant. That's totally incongruent. What we're talking about is mastering the root cause of the being and what the being has to interact with on a day-to-day basis. So if you master the root foundation of where you're actually coming from, then you get to create whichever universe, world that you decide to.
Ashe. You got anything on it, AD? Anything additional?
Nah, just mostly just realizing what is your focus, because ordinary mind is really never focused.
Never. Just doing what it's doing.
I would say also to drive the point home, an ordinary mind is like you give a 10-year-old $50 in the mall and tell them to eat their own dinner, as opposed to a 40-year-old person. Well, you can't even put it on people like that, but you get what I mean when you give
somebody that knows about nutrition and different seasonings and spices. If you give him $50 and he's going to Whole Foods,
he's leaving the mall.
Yeah, he's going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? He's not even going to do that.
Yeah, the old head gonna take the $50 and you might eat for 2 weeks off of that.
Yeah, that kid is gonna get pizza, chicken.
Yeah, they're gonna be done with that shit by the end of the night. Like they're gonna be
old head gonna make a soup. You know what I'm saying? Like some shit
lentil soup.
Some lentil on your ass.
Mm-hmm. That should be scrumptious for about
some
5
rice
days straight.
over some buttered rice.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, let's go. Fresh baked rolls. You like, wait a second.
You did all of that with what I gave you?
Yeah, you feel like you in the Mediterranean or some shit like that. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy the older that you get, but then also God is funny, right? The body is so different when you older. Like, so the mind is so different when you older. Like the flexibility and dexterity and the ability to grow and stretch, it happens when you're young, but that's when you're doing all of the dumb shit, depending on your culture, right? If you black, you use your 20 as a free for all most of the time. Like if it happens, if it goes good, it goes good. If it don't, it don't. I'm gonna just kind of wing it because I'm young, and
shit like that. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
you recover in your 30s,
and you try to get it back in your 30s. Like, damn, I could have been doing this ever since I was 18. What the fuck? Like, once you get 18. You got the same credit as a nigga that's 47.
That's a fact.
Message.
We all on an even playing field, but you only realize that when you're 30, and then when you trying in your 30s and you realizing like, damn, I'm 12 years behind. Like that's the reality a lot of black people come to the grips with. And then probably by your 40s and 50s, if you trying to like balance the boat, you can. But in reference into balancing the boat, you have to actually cut out all of the bullshit. That's why your mom don't go to the club. But you do. You ever notice that? You getting dressed, your mom got on her fucking muumuu. Like you going
outside? Bro.
Yes. Like
sitting on the couch with her feet up.
You scared to call old people after 8 o'clock. You know they might be in bed, my guy.
Right.
Man. Powerful stuff, man.
That was that.
Shout out to Prime. Much love to Prime.
Salute, Prime. Salute. I love the fact that you said dexterity, right? Because like the mind, it's so fucking durable, bro. But you would have no clue. You wouldn't have any clue about that growing up, right? When you're a teenager, you think you just got to get everything you can right away and nothing else matters. And then you get old and you be like, damn, I could have waited for all of that shit. Like, none of that shit moved me any way whatsoever. I could have waited for all of that shit.
It's crazy how you get older and you start realizing the chicks that you wanted the older version of you. They never wanted the younger version of you. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah, that was a harsh reality, but
You wasted your time on it, like the capacity of just everything of your development and the time that it takes to develop and your understanding of it is like, man, having these conversations when you young and to be like, all right, just because you young don't mean you should bullshit. I feel like that should, in my mind, it should change lives. It should be able to be the thing that a person thinks like, damn, I don't have an excuse because I'm 20 something.
Right.
That if I tell myself that, then whatever, but it's not real.
no.
You have to master your mind. You have to have a focus of where you want to take your life.
I think
Yeah, when you don't got your shit together when you young, they kind of look at you stupid. They like, how old are you, man? This and this and this going on. They, damn, you got that, man. Now you know.
When I was your age, I was.
Yeah.
Niggas love saying that.
They let you know, like, yeah, man, you fucking up right now, but you gonna be good.
I think about it along the lines of, like, you know how with royalty, right? You're essentially born into a place of hierarchy and shit. Like, think about the young 8-9-year-old who has to take over the kingdom at like 10. Right? Like, think about the kind of mind that person has to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's totally different when we've been allowed to be scatterbrained most of our fucking lives, at least half of it. You know what I'm saying? And then pick up the pieces later on. Like, think about being born into that shit and you having to be a fucking mastermind from the beginning.
It's some prodigies that exist in the world, athletic, artistic, and they have to maneuver. Some children that are 14 in college, 16 in college, they have to maneuver in a world where they have to recognize that the mind is a powerful tool and nobody is going to cut them some slacks. I think the more mature you get, the more you realize that don't nobody owe you shit. And if you want to be a millionaire, you can become a millionaire, right? It is growing up, having a scattered mind. I think one of the deficiencies of a scattered mind is that if I want to become a millionaire, it's almost impossible for me to even do that. If I want to have a successful relationship, it's almost impossible for me to do that because my mind is all over the place. However, if I want to focus my mind and I want to utilize everything at my disposal to accomplish what I set out to accomplish, even more, I think the even bigger point to this is even if I become a millionaire, so the fuck what? The sky is going to be a day and a night still. So it's a lot of things that come into play. Like, you can have whatever you want. It's not going to change nothing. But ultimately, this is a step in the right.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be careful what you wish for. You know,
Right.
then
Someone say nine of cups
that shit get handed to you, and then you don't know what the fuck to do with it. Like, you just like wishing you never had it now. Like, hold up, player, you wish for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't know what to do with it. Like, that's the catch-22 that comes with that. If your mind isn't even intact with the intent of what it is that you want, right? You're gonna get that thing. But are you going to be able to enjoy that thing?
Or sustain it and grow with it?
It's a lot of ifs.
Too many ifs for the ordinary mind. Too many ifs for the ordinary mind. Too many ifs.
So let's just continue along. Point 3. which is the 3 stages of mental development, which differentiates the mental development of human beings in the world. You have the first level, which is mental slavery. A person is a servant to outside forces, unable to control their mind, more or less caught up with the glamour of the world, the lovers of Haley Bailey and Beyonce and Cardi B and Jay Z and whatever is going on between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. That's a level of mental slavery, whether you know it or not, because none of those people give a damn about you. So
Don't
the
even know
next
you
level,
exist.
they don't know you exist. It doesn't even, you don't matter, right? But you so caught up in them. Another aspect is partial freedom, which I like to call the 50-50 zone, a state where there's some control, but not complete mastery. And for real, that's where I'm actually at. The reason why I would like to want to tackle this book, because it's points in times where I know that I've focused my mind and I've manifested stuff, but then in dealing with my children or dealing with my relationship, I'm easily distracted and moved to the side depending on how people feel about me that day. But the final level, which I hope to accomplish by reading through this book, mental mastery, full control over mental faculties aligned with the will, but achieved by very few. Where are y'all at on the spectrum? Are y'all mental masters or slaves to the glamour or somewhere in the middle?
I'm in the middle because I know how it is to bring a lot of things in my life, meet amazing people, and get amazing guidance, and then always returning back to being the young nigga and just enjoying myself, being the glamour, and then be like, oh man, all right, I gotta go back to get focused. And it's like I don't constantly want to have that switch up all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I want everything to be a smooth, congruent shape. You know what I'm saying? It's all flow, and it's like I don't want to be off balance. So I know myself being in that. You know what I'm saying? It's like okay, I got to lock in this coming up. I don't want to be like that. I want to be like, oh, I know that's coming up. It's already completed.
Yeah, I have to say I play in all 3 fields.
Keeping
Um, if
it
I,
real, nigga. Keeping it
yeah,
real.
like I'm definitely in the gray though, nigga. Like I think, I think when I decide, I make a mental decision that I want to be on my bullshit. I'm gonna be in the first one, right? I think when I'm have an idea that's generating steam and I'm starting to formulate a plan and structure to it, I will ease my way up to number 2. I think the only true time that I'm in the last one, the mental mastery, is when I just don't give a fuck about what anybody else is doing. Like when I'm not paying attention to what anything else is, what anybody else is doing or what anything else is going on. Like when I block out the world and I go straight spirituality, like everything ceases to exist. But I think if like I being honest, bro, like I play in all 3 fields. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm a mental master. You know what I'm saying? Knowing I'm going home to smoke some loud tonight, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm 1,000.
You got that, Zah? You got
Uh,
that.
no, that's I.
Hell
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say that I am not always in pursuit of mental mastery. Like I think that's the ultimate goal, but somehow you just don't get there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to be on your bullshit. Sometimes bullshit comes and you just accept it, right? You might be in your ordinary mind place. So I think I play in all 3 fields. I think the better I get as I go, the first one is dwindling, but it's still there. It's still there.
Hey Hood, after Breeze go, can you click on Straight Panther comment?
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I'm somewhere in the middle as well. But it's funny you mentioned Beyonce. I'm a huge fan of Beyonce. I went to see her in Houston last year around this time. But for me, it's a bit of
He had
hey.
he had to point that out. He had like showing off ass nigga. My bad.
But
I bet
it's
you
I
this nigga
think
had excellent seats with rose oil in his. But you had a wonderful time and shit.
Yeah,
Just
engineering seats ass nigga.
it's all good, bro. I ain't even mad. I'm just like just throwing it out. I just, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I ain't mad. I'm just a little jealous.
I just wish I'd have thought I had to throw a rose oil in my shit. You feel me? I wish I thought
but
of
for me it's kind of like I do my best to stay in the mastermind spot, but a lot of times I want to enjoy life because I don't really, to the point where if I tell friends and family, oh yeah, I'm planning a trip, they be like, congratulations, because you don't do shit.
that.
So for me it's kind of like that, like, oh yeah, I am a human that came here to experience all these things. Because if it was up to me and I was still single, I probably wouldn't even know what time of day it is, what year it is, other than what I hear at work. Um, so I would say that I think a lot of those other things is for like enjoyment, and playing around and having fun. But I
I
think with
feel
the mastermind, you're doing what needs to be done, regardless of what you want. What the regardless of what the body wants. You
Mm.
know, I would say that.
And I would also say sometimes we would need to focus our mind so we could have enough money to buy a $50,000 Beyonce ticket. You feel me? I
That's
know the
true
tickets
too.
wasn't cheap. I know they
That's
wasn't cheap.
yeah, yeah. That's true too though. In order to, I would say, enjoy life at a higher level, sometimes you do have to be disciplined,
Mhm.
because your enjoyment, just to go off what the brothers were saying, is like your enjoyment could just be you just smoking loud every night. Whereas if you're disciplined enough, your enjoyment could be that you going to
To
motherfucking Los
Amsterdam.
Angeles, or yeah, like doing some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. To that point.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's all there.
no, the reason why I had said click on this comment, because he said I've been noticing how distractions manifest, and it's like I like how he said that, because when your mind is like scattered, it'll be all types of shit is popping up. But it's like when your mind is focused on that thing, it's like all types of things relating that just be popping up, like problems to solve it. Or it's like, oh shit, I know a place where I can get this, and I've been looking for this for hell. It's just shit connect the dots when you just tapped into it.
Indeed.
It's
Yeah, I
like
noticed. Yeah, I noticed when not to cut your wisdom, but I noticed when you want to be on your bullshit, like you will justify everything around that shit. But when you're focused, like you can see the bullshit coming before it forms, right? Like when you're focused, you could see the spaces where something is going to try and interact or distract you, and you just maneuver around that shit without even thinking twice about it. But when you're not focused, like everything distracts you. Like that shit is so easy.
But I think it's a sneaky pairing to these concepts that we lay out too, because there would be anxiety that would form in reference to not having enough money to pay the bills, that would tie into having an uncontrolled mind in a certain aspect, right? Or an anxiety to maybe you wanted to like go on a date or whatever the case may be, but you didn't do the cold calling work or the grounding work to like put yourself in a position to even be courted or court or nothing like that. You ain't did no grooming, no hygiene, no outfit picking. You just been, scatterbrained. But at the end of the day, you like, damn, I wish I had a girl. You know how many people is like that in the
Mhm.
world that just want money,
Mm-hmm.
but don't utilize their mind to actually formulate a way to get it. And then on the flip side, when you just pan the land of just, I'm gonna just use it as an example, dope boys, right? They manifest money through the mind. How are you? Have anybody ever asked y'all, do you got crack for sale?
Nah.
Nobody ever asked me that.
And I used to sell it, so I don't.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's
I
how you know.
don't.
It's hard to do that shit.
I've never had somebody walk up to me and ask me that. That wasn't an
How do you
undercover cop.
market? How do you market crack?
You
Do you
don't
know?
market crack. Crack markets it itself.
How though? If I just wanted to just get into the game, like it
The
looked good from a
understanding,
Jay-Z perspective, but just any nigga that wants to sell it, a lot
I
of
mean, he
times
said
that shit
Snowfall and
just
them
sit in
hyped it
your
up.
pocket.
no. The understanding is that the availability is what sells it. So, right, like I want it, right? I want to get to it, but ain't nobody on my block that got it. So I'm gonna go over here to Peachtree Street because I know they got it popping over there. You smell me? Nobody over there is actually selling the shit. The shit is selling itself.
Damn.
The idea of knowing it's over there, that's what sells it.
Damn. I ain't never seen a billboard said they got crack over at the trap house on 27th Street if you're looking for it.
I mean, but certain things don't
That's
need to be
hilarious.
spoken to be understood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what's popping on the inside of those red line districts, right? You know what's going on down
It's
there.
like the frequency giving off just certain energies that you know is
The
trapped.
niggas is driving charges in the projects. You know what's going on down
He
there.
said, "You see nothing but Hellcats."
Come on,
Underglow.
bro. You know how they giving it up
in the
over there.
reference of a mastermind, because I've been a nigga in the drug game that was nothing but a crash out.
Mm-hmm.
I was nothing but a magnet for police and jack boys.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas just see me like, oh, we got an easy target today, fellas. Like, just you're not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't, but it's also niggas in the drug game making a fortune. So in the concept of a mastermind, a person from the outside looking in have no idea how this, it could be a man's. You don't know how he's making money hands over fists, and y'all live in the same project building. The only difference between you and him is your mind.
Yeah,
Is
because
basically what I'm saying.
the concept that's brought to a lot of these people, or the way that they envision it, is small projection point here. The way they envision it is like the person that's really getting money and getting to it on the block. Within their mind, the way they connect those dots is that he's busting his ass, right?
Right.
However, that nigga probably smoked like 10 blunts in front of you, and you still running around like a jackrabbit, and his pockets is still heavier than yours, right? So I'm glad that you brought that up as an example. What does the mastermind with the drug dealer versus the mastermind drug dealer crash out? The non-mastermind drug dealer crash out. The non-mastermind drug dealer crash out just thinks all he has to do is get the work and put it in the bag and just be around, right? No, the mastermind dealer, he's doing all of the work in his mind first before he proceeds to go out on the block with the work. You dig me? The person that isn't using their mind, they just think they just need to get the work and just be somewhere. But the person who's already mastered the understanding of this game, he's doing all of the work in his head first. So that way, by the time he gets to the block, the money's already coming in. It's two different concepts.
And it's a certain level of clientele that when you use your mind, like my man's, he had ill clientele, just white boys all over the state. You feel me? And it's like how we from the same trenches. How you know niggas in Parma, Ohio type shit in the boondocks? You know what I mean? How do you know these niggas? But the power of the mind in reference to this nigga just want to get a nice car. So everything for him to get a nice car All this nigga's thinking about is I gotta get a car, I gotta get it painted, I gotta get rims on it, and everything. I'm watching him because I'm selling dime bags. He's selling trash bags of pounds. You feel me? But we sandbox like
Mhm.
we know the same things, listen to the same
Y'all from the
music,
mud with it. Y'all from the mud with it.
but we got two different mindsets in reference to I'm still incorporating things that I knew from my nigga selling weed into what I'm doing today. You know what I'm saying? Because he was just a shrewd, savvy businessman to this day, right? But like it all started from the drug game. But I know from my experience that when you are focused mentally, the world conspires for you to be successful. But if you don't even know, if you don't even know, your ass will go to jail or even worse. And it's a big difference, that I've observed.
Right.
Yeah, I think that connects to what Straight Panther said in the chat. He said intuition. And intuition is key. But think about it. How many men? I'm not talking about women. I'm just talking about men. How many men weren't even taught to use their intuition?
I never was taught that in a specific way. Like I don't know what intuition was from having scattered thoughts, especially as a youth. It's like ghetto boys, my mind playing tricks on me. Let's get through point 4. What are the consequences of an uncontrolled mind? I want y'all to think about that when y'all give some feedback. What would the consequences be of having an uncontrolled mind? The lack of mastery over thoughts and feelings leads to problems like insomnia and anxiety. You can barely see that. Let me see if I can zoom in. But basically, I'll read it. There's no greater enemy than an uncontrolled mind. That's from the Bhagavad Gita. So, what does this mean? Most people have never learned to control their thoughts, allowing them to dominate without resistance. So, if you don't even fight back to your thoughts, they'll dominate you. And then you'll contemplate on the object of the senses. Every time you contemplate on something outside of you, you'll develop attachment to it. And then when you contemplate on it, your mind will tune into it. So it's a lot of bullshit that you ain't even focused on, but you can't even tune into it because you can't even perceive of it. But the things that you do think about, your mind will make bigger and larger. Our whole direction in life is based on what we contemplate or what station or channel we choose to tune our mind into. The best thing for us may be right in front of us. That goes back to intuition. But if we do not tune into it, we will not see it. So the question is, what is the consequences to an uncontrolled mind? The Bhagavad Gita states, for one who controls the mind is the best of friends. But for one who is unable to control the mind is the worst enemy. The only enemy a person can have is his or her own uncontrolled mind. If our mind is controlled, there are no enemies outside. So, once again, I'll open up the panel. What would be the consequence of having an uncontrolled mind? And how could that relate to you in your life and how you're going to set your intentions looking forward?
The first thing that comes to mind, an uncontrolled mind, is getting scammed after scammed after scammed after scam,
Facts.
and believing in fairy tales. You know, that's a key indicator of having an uncontrolled mind, getting scammed. If you try to join 3 different pyramid schemes in the same year, that's what you get. You know, um, and it's kind of like you're holding space for someone to have all the answers for you and to change your life for the best possible, just, whereas it's for you to take charge of your mind in order to say, this is what I want and this is how I have to get it. You can't let someone come around and say, hey, I know the perfect way for you to become psychic, or you to make 50 grand in 2 months, the uncontrolled, like I remember hearing someone say that, if you don't set your own intentions, there's someone that's going to set intentions for you, whether it's your boss at work, it's your significant other, it's the federal government, whoever, but if you don't have your intentions and you don't stay firm with those, you're going to fall into someone else's intention.
Man,
The first thing that came
y'all
to
ever
mind.
sold knives?
You said you would have sold knives.
Yeah, y'all
I know
ever
what you're
thought y'all
talking
was getting
about.
a job? I thought I was getting a job.
Yeah.
They had me goddamn like, all right, you gotta give us $250, and then you gotta go door to door and sell these knives. I'm like, yo, wait a second.
My pops about that. He was like, man, get the hell out of here with that commission ass job. I was sorry. But it,
Thought you
it
about to
broke
get
the
rich.
spell though. Yeah, it broke the spell for me. But yeah, that right there, a perfect example. Perfect example.
My fault, AD. What you were saying?
No, you good. I said the first thing that came to my mind, an uncontrolled mind, manifests fear.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? It sound like I went out.
No, we can't hear you.
Okay, yeah, uncontrolled mind manifests fear because 9 times 10, we're gonna have doubt, we're gonna have anxiety, we're gonna have all these things we're pursuing, and in the back of our head, we know we're not gonna get it done. That's what the uncontrolled mind brings.
It sounds so simple, but in reference, if like you ever had an uncontrolled mind, do you notice it that your mind is becoming scattered, and do you connect the dots to other negative emotional experience from that scattered mind?
I think that's key, really understanding your personal seasons and your personal cycles, and how you stress, because you'll let your mind wander to something that's just going to make you feel better in the moment, but not necessarily help you get out of that stressful mind state. And I mean, you do that through journaling, you can be like, I had this is what I want to do, but I'm gonna find something more constructive, yeah, that's helped me a lot, just understanding my seasons, and what I'd rather do when I'm mad or frustrated, and early on I just was just like, you know what, scrap this day, I'm going to 2:30, I'm just going to bed. I'm gonna start over, instead of the old self, like, let me buy a bunch of weed, or let me go to the bar, let me try to fuck with the hoes, you know what I mean? All this stuff is just gonna drain my funds, which is gonna bring more stress. So I would say that understand your, as an individual.
And if you want to like see how to know, like, when your mind's on control, how to notice it, for the people who like journal and do that mind work, you're gonna be noticing as you really keeping track of your progress and the things you're doing, right? And it's up to you to make that conscious decision to like make the change, because you gotta want the change. And plus, it's like you gotta understand how you're halfway already there if you're doing the process and understand what you're doing wrong. But for the people who are not even doing that right, let's say you in this live and you don't do that work and you want to make it start, you gotta notice when you see yourself trying to want change, but you got old habits that's just winning. So that's where you gotta attack first. You already see yourself wanting something and want something better for yourself. Because you already feel like you at rock bottom or you low. And when you low, the only place is to go up. You gotta climb there. Sometimes you gotta give yourself that credit when you see the work doing. And the work is sometimes known as like, okay, I want this. That's the first step.
Serpent, you got any thoughts on the consequences of an uncontrolled mind?
Biggest consequence I see of an uncontrolled mind is never having any kind of wherewithal to control an outcomes. And of course, we live in a world where most outcomes are outside, or at least they exist outside of one's control. However, there are things that you are capable of controlling. And if you are in control of your mind, then you are 1000% in control of your response to whatever is occurring. And the uncontrolled mind is what I would call chaos on steroids, right? Because it's always going to be an ego aspect that is going to justify you doing and being on your bullshit. And so I think recognizing seasons, like Breeze was just alluding to earlier, is extremely important. Like, do you know how you respond to conflict? And do you know how you respond to unfavorable situations? And then in those acts, um, can you control your feelings within those things, right? Because that's a whole nother aspect that we don't talk about. We're talking about the mind, but we're not talking about feelings and emotions. Those go with it, right? So if you're out of control within your mind, then you're definitely going to be out of control with your feelings and your emotions. And if you're out of control with your feelings and your emotions, well, then all bets are off, right? There is no right or wrong in that situation. It's all just going to be wrong, just because it's coming from a place of uncontrollable um, and just random thoughts that coalesce the entirety of the being, right? So not not being in control of your mind, I think, is the worst thing a human being can be, just because there is nothing that you're willing to do or not willing to do, as far as to get on your bullshit and to stay on your bullshit, because you're not in control anyway.
Facts. So within the book, he kind of starts to narrow it in, kind of takes a left turn, and he's kind of saying how in the book that we're referring to is the Mastermind by Theron Dumont. Um, if you have negative thoughts, you got to begin to ask yourself why. What's the reason? What's the purpose? What is the overall general consensus as to why that negative thought is even there? And another thing, since your mind is all powerful, you could exercise or get rid of negative thoughts so you can master your mind, because you cannot master your mind and harbor negative thoughts at the same time. The first step towards mastering the mind is eliminating negative and scattered thoughts. You should differentiate the ordinary mind from the mastermind. How do I have a goal? How do I reach my goals? The first step is eliminating negative and scattered thoughts. Why? Because the more you tune into negativity, the more you reduce your power to be positive. So, what do I mean by negative? Negative means it's not in your best interest. So you will naturally feel the tension if you tune into it of focusing on a thought that's not in your best interest. For a guy, it's when your girl is telling you, maybe we should go to Ruth's Chris this weekend and spend like $300, and you got like $500 in your bank account. That is a negative thought, and you focus in on how to like manifest $300 so you can take your girl to Ruth's Chris, and you stressing out. That is a negative thought. However, a positive thought is something that will be best for you in that moment. And you can also feel that. It's like, for me, if I have a good workout at the gym, I know the difference between a good workout and a bad workout by how good I feel throughout the workout. My mind, the same way. If I'm focusing on negative things, it could be a real thing too. Like, I need to pay bills. I could focus on the fact that I need to pay bills. That's not going to help me. The positive thing is making the money so I can pay the bills. And when I'm thinking that way, it's easier for me to get to where I need to get to in that next step. Right. So, what is the reason to focus on a negative thought if we're going to hold up the ordinary mind, the scattered mind? Why do we do it in the first place? And I'm gonna just open the panel up to this question.
For me, I think it depends on the time. Like if if things are not going the way that I want them to go at a particular moment, it's easy for me to hone in on the negative aspects of whatever it is that's transpiring, and then at the same time continue to pile on with more and more negative thoughts because I'm already in the negative realm, right? And if I'm in a woe is me attitude or a victimized mentality, then yeah, everything is going to be that, and it's just going to be a snowball effect totally in that direction 1000%. It's not going to change. Nothing is going to change unless I change it. Now, I'd say there are benefits to holding on to or to focusing in on a negative thought if you're trying to understand where that thought is coming from and why it actually is existing within your mind at that current time and place. Like if you're taking inventory, right? If you're taking inventory on self and you're trying to understand why a particular negative thought exists or why it's come up at that time, investigating the reasoning for and the purpose behind the negative thought can be and would be beneficial if the intent is to understand it as opposed to react to it, right? Because if I just make a decision to want to react to the negative thoughts in my mind, then those negative thoughts have completely taken hold of me, the being, and now I'm just in that realm and that realm only. But if I'm taking inventory on self and taking inventory on my thoughts and then taking inventory on why these thoughts are existing at this particular time, then understanding and honing in on that negative thought might actually be a benefit if that is the intent from the beginning. That makes sense to y'all.
Mm-hmm. Got to do that shadow work.
Yeah. I just focus on negative thoughts. It's just don't I feel like the only thing it really brings you is that chest pain or that stomach feeling you get all the time. And it's like living in that fear state when you get those negative thoughts, especially when you in a predicament that you don't know the outcome of. This is like walking by faith is like a real term.
Shay, I don't I feel like walking by faith is easy if you can focus your thoughts, much more difficult if you just all over the place because you just hoping things will work out, but knowing things will work out because you have a mind, your mind is powerful, and a direct conduit between you and God is through the mind, and learning how to just get rid of the negative thoughts, meaning thoughts that no longer serve you, thoughts that's not going to help you move forward, but just assessing it. But then also, like Serpent said, if shit keep coming up, at a certain point, like you keep sabotaging, you keep cheating on your girlfriend, and like for no reason, you just feel like you got to do something sneaky. You know what I mean? Like you just can't help it. You might have to address why that thing keeps on happening and learn how to exercise these thoughts. Like it could be something very basic like abandonment from your parents that you trying to solve through a thotty you met at the bar last night, and it's just going to constantly create negative energy in your life until you realize that, you know, your parents abandoned you and that's causing you to recreate this in all of your relationships or sabotage all of your relationships. So learning how to process your mind, do self inventory is one of the ways that you can master your mind. So just going through point 6, the conflict between meditation and worry. Basically, how I read this, and y'all can let me know how y'all perceive this. You can't actively meditate and worry at the same time. You either going to focus on your worry or focus on your meditation. You cannot meditate and worry at the same time. Worrisome thoughts must be released to experience calm and clarity. Worrisome thoughts actually drain you. So it is the things that you are worried about that's actually going to drain you. The most random thoughts only serve themselves, they don't serve you. So if you're thinking about things that have nothing to do with your purpose, the only reason you're thinking about that is to feed that entity or energy. In magical concepts, it's called a thought form, right? A thought form is a living, breathing thing that you feed by constantly thinking about it.
An egregor.
An egregor, right? Natural things that we are thinking that only feed themselves. They don't feed you. They don't help you. It's if you ever talk to a random nigga in the hood, he gonna hit you with something he just been thinking about, and his shoes stink, right? But he's like, "Yo, I've been having this idea for years," but it's like that's not helping you get new shoes, right? So understanding that you shouldn't serve your random thoughts, you should actually get into a pure, pristine focus thought, and that is mastering the mind. What are your thoughts towards your goal that inspire you to do things? And if you have a thought, focus on that and that alone. And I know you probably going through some shit right now today, but this is a perspective that can help you with mastering your mind. On the left, we got Shorty with the mini fro in 2018, but 5 years later, she have long, luxurious locks. What is the perspective of getting rid of negative thoughts and only focusing on your goal? Because whatever you're dealing with now, 5 years from now, I promise you it won't matter. The shit that you was going through 5 years ago, you're not going through it now. And the shit you going through today, 5 years from now, you're not gonna be going through it. So eliminate whatever you're going through right now and focus on the positive or the good or the great thing and master that thought in your mind and allow it to create scenarios and circumstances that will help you get those long, luxurious locks. Do y'all have trouble with having this perspective? Like me personally, I'm always thinking about what I'm going through right now. And this actually helped me to just let it go. Because what I really need to focus on is what I need to do to get where I need to go. I don't need to focus on the negative shit that I'm experiencing. That's how I took it. How did y'all take this section of the book?
Nah, that's 1000% true. It reminds me of um Just like you can't meditate and worry at the same time, you can't be God and in fear at the same time. So when we're talking about meditation and worry, we're talking about a problem that may arise within these plethora of negative thoughts that may exist within the being as a whole. That stuff is not relevant to the goal or the task at hand. So you can't think about a problem in order to fix the actual problem. Like, you know, it's a problem already, right? Thinking about it doesn't fix it. You know, it's tantamount to what we always say: as a man, it is your job to do the next best thing. So the next best thing for you to do, what man or woman, if there is a problem that presents itself to you, or there's a negative thought that exists within your thought forms, the answer is not to continue to think that thought. The answer is not to pile on and accumulate more thoughts that fall in line with that thought. The idea is to understand where it is coming from, why it exists there, and what is the benefit of you actually dwelling on it. If there is any benefit to you actually even dwelling on it. And for me, you know, meditation is about going empty. It's about getting light so you can receive light. So when thinking about a problem or an issue or a negative thought form that arises within you, the answer is not to correct it. The answer is to understand and to move on, as opposed to dwelling in the drums or whatever negative shit that you just feel that you need to have within you. Like, it, there's no benefit to keeping it. If it exists, it's there. Understand why it exists, and then move forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like having a heartbreak and you trying to do work or you got to do things with your team. It's like being an emotionally distraught and you trying to do all these things. You won't be able to get it done because you in this place where you're trying to do all the work that needs your absolute focus, and you're gonna be drifting, thinking about what could have been happening, what could have been done, how you could have did things better, how you blame yourself. You know, you it's like even going through something different. You get taken over by stuff. And it's like seeing this serpent in front of me is making me think about sense consciousness too. And meditation helps you deal with that.
You have to journey through the underworld, and the underworld is going to give you a revelation. That revelation is not going to be like, yeah, but this situation that you're going through right now is crazy. I don't know how you going to get over it for real. It's probably going to hold you back for life. Like, you ain't going to overcome it, but you have a future and a mansion. It's going to all work out. But this situation right here is crazy, dog. Like, I don't
Crazy.
know how you even got yourself into this shit for real. Like, it is a solution, but like, stress over this shit though, like, for real, because stress over it for another 3 years and then it might, like, no, it is inconsequential. The power of your ability to go within your DNA through dream work, through meditation work, through journaling, you should be able to tune into that clearer and get the messages from your ancestors and move accordingly and be unstoppable. Because you gonna be relying on a scam artist and you gonna have to drop that 59.99. And after that, ain't no telling what's gonna happen. So, like, just meditating and referencing the journey of APEP, like Straight Panther had put in the chat, like, going deep within yourself is the way, but actually focusing on the power aspect of yourself is also the way. Not trying to rationalize how fucked up or narcissistic your baby daddy is versus you can overcome all of that shit, you a god. Let's start there and end there and fixate on there, because it's gonna be a million and one problems. You're gonna be like, but what about, but did you know he was bi hood? Like, I didn't tell you that. He went both ways. How am I supposed to recover after that? Like, that is affecting me. Like, no,
It's
it
like
don't
it's
have
like
to
I
do with
found
you.
him. I found him on a gay page, and he talking about he was selling weed on that.
He said that's where all the good custies was. Hood. Do you believe him? No, I don't. But let's not focus on him. But he was gay, hood. Like, you be like, you talk to her a couple of days later, just trying to get over the fact that this nigga swing both ways. I don't know. I'm trying to hold it together. Like, girl, let that shit go, man. That nigga is living his truth. You know what I'm saying?
I swear to God, there's never been an instance when anybody was going through anything in their life and told somebody else about it, and motherfuckers be like, shit, that ain't never happened before. Like, no, like everything that has happened before at one point or another.
You're not special,
A
sis.
lot of
It's
us,
cool.
yeah. You niggas is not special. Like, there is no mountain that you can't climb. Like that, telling yourself that you can't, like, it means that you're just not on this particular frequency, and that's okay. But
I just never thought that I would be with a dude that was bi. Like, I can't even get over it. I went into deep depression when he told me that, hood, because like that has everything to do with me. Like, it don't.
Does that mean my pussy ain't no good? My pussy turn niggas gay.
Yeah, that's the weird shit. Like the weird shit. Like, no, come on. Like, let's get with it. Mastermind. Let's get let it go. That shit happened 10 years ago. He was gay before y'all met. He just
yeah, he was gay before y'all even met, girlfriend.
His mom just was giving him pressure, like, what's up with you? And he just used you, but it ain't have nothing to do with you. You just got a good heart. Like, let's just focus on that and let's do the shadow work, because y'all be worried about shit that happened. Like, I was traumatized. What happened? He was bisexual, hood. Like, come on. Like that's not trauma for real. Like, y'all like be dragging it. But I just was thinking about that as a goddamn Adam and Eve, the serpent and shit. I don't know. But anyways, ain't no real life situation that ever happened or nothing. I'm just
I mean, you could take the Lilith route of that shit. Be like, hood, that nigga wanted me to get on the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what?
Wait a second.
Get on the bottom, like.
It's crazy out here, man. You got to do that shadow work, because otherwise, you would even, I think, even to the point where you will hold on to traumas that's not even traumas. You will hold on to negative things that, like, imagine something that you could let go. You holding on a heavy, hot coal, and you just walking around holding that shit burning your skin to the white meat, to the bone. And all you ever had to do is just drop it and let it go. Right. And then that's the beginning, because it's still work to do. But how are we going to do this work? And people is walking around holding these hot coals, and that's just not even them. The deeper work to the mind is non-physical, it's infinite, it's powerful, and we all have access to it. But if we are caught up in our egos, fears, anxieties, psychoses, then it's hard for us to actually connect to that deeper aspect of us. And it's been said before, and I'll say it again, it's very powerful when you tap into your inner self and understand the difference between intuition and the scattered mind telling you to just crash out because your ex done some wild shit. You know what I mean?
And those things actually go together, big bro. Because isn't there people who walk over hot coals all the fucking time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing that they do.
That's got to be the power of the mind and the non-physical, right?
Yeah.
Like the mind's so strong. Like the mind's so strong, you can go through some shit, and like people be talking about shit like shit they've been through and trauma, and you be like, oh, I've been through that before. Like, and you think that shit okay? Like, that's how strong the mind is. Real talk.
I did some shadow work the other day. I went through some shit, and so I had an emotional reaction to some shit. Right, I was triggered, and so what I did to get over it. It was sick. I wrote down every time I either caught a girl or found out she was cheating. I just I wrote down the circumstance, the name, everything I could remember about the detail.
The street corner, everything.
Everything, bro. Everything, like the bathroom, everything, bro. So
Use a wild boy.
after that, after that, I felt so much better and so much freer. I can't even explain why. But I've never I thought I forgot this shit. I was remember niggas' names, I was remember circumstances, everything, nigga. That shit was like photographic memory. That shit was running my fucking mind, my nigga. Silently, I didn't even realize it. I had to actually journal, nigga. It was about 20 different occasions where I caught a bitch cheating in my lifetime. And I know this, it was paragraphs for each and every circumstance. And I remember that shit vividly. And sometimes a girl be like, you got trust issues. You be like, OD, like, why you want to know my location? I'm like, I'm in the bedroom, nigga. Like, what's going on? Right. But that's some shit I need to actually work through. And I just give that example because I wasn't aware that I was suffering like that. Really suffering because the thoughts that you don't pay attention to, they manifest as anxiety, trust issues, negative emotions. But when you don't do the shadow work, it manifests as that and it controls your life. It sucks the joy out of you. Like I can't be happy. I couldn't be happy in that moment, no matter what. I tried to do so much shit to get over this feeling that I was feeling. And the only thing that I did was the shadow work of immersing myself in every time I experienced that feeling of, damn, this bitch cheating on me.
There's a lot of healthiness. There's a lot of healthiness in that, just from the simple fact that a lot of that stuff is trauma to you in your past. It's not trauma anymore, but at one time or another, it was trauma.
Fucked me up.
Yeah, because it brought you to a point of being triggered. So, yeah, that's really fucking good work, bro. The average person is not going to do that. The average person is not going to do that.
Nah, it can fuck other people. If you ever been cheated on or lied to or betrayed or deceived, you probably need to do shadow work. And it might not even seem like you need to do shadow work.
Especially if you stayed.
Go ahead.
Especially if you stayed.
Like if you went back to the joint after she cheated on you?
Yeah, like it's been people who got cheated on and they stayed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's tough because
that's super tough.
That's tough. I don't even think I was even that strong. I can't handle it.
Like, remember the best
Teflon. That's Teflon Dawn right there, nigga.
Nah. He was marrying a girl. As he was marrying her, he crying because he's seeing them back shots happening to her.
That was a movie. I don't think I could do that in real life.
Nah, son. They need to stop re-traumatizing people and putting that shit in movies too. Because I swear to God, I know a handful of niggas that went postal after that, killed the whole house. Like, listen, that is a real thing. Crime of passion is a real thing. And yeah, I wish the motherfuckers that committed those crimes of passion actually knew about shadow work. But I digress. Like, that shit is something that you absolutely need to do. Absolutely.
Real. And it seemed like generational. It's like collected, and now men and women is doing crazy stuff to one another in their relationships. And it's like imagine being in a relationship and you want a news. That's got to be crazy.
That happened to Finesse 2 times the other day. Like,
I just be talking about like local news, wherever you at.
Yeah, that's even worse.
It's crazy ass stories.
That's even
One's in the
worse.
chat. If it's crazy ass stories on your local news, domestic violence situations, and it's like, yeah, do your shadow work because you might meet somebody that been cheated on 10 straight times, and all you thinking is, oh, this nigga look good, right? And you might wink at a nigga, and he before you know it, it's fist flying at your ass. And you like, what the fuck wrong with you? Because you know they're gonna shadow ban, they're gonna suppress the reality, but the world needs shadow work, right? And I don't mind going live. I don't mind talking about this shit because shadow work save your fucking life more than anything. Because you don't even know that you can get over the shit that you just sitting over there brooding about. Like you just so mad about some shit, but you ain't even journaled about it.
Yeah, not only does the world need shadow work, the world needs to know that shadow work actually exists.
Right. And how to do it. Like not just some shit where it's just like, oh, Dr. Carl Jung in 1920 was a psychologist that in like, no, you gotta be like, you about to journal about that motherfucker that cheated on you with your fucking brother that you just walking around here with your fist tight like Arthur, right? You like, damn, I can't believe my brother and my boyfriend gay, like, and you trying to get back on the dating market, little lady. Journal about that shit. Journal about the details, the intricate details. Journal about every feeling, every time he lied to you. Look at it, visualize it, get intimate with it so you can release it. Because if you never look at it face to face, it's going to control you on the lowest of keys.
And you absolutely need to make another side to that paper and shadow work your ass into the shit that you got away with too.
Ugh.
You know all those times you cheated and didn't get caught? Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. You need to shadow work that shit out too. Because no shadow work will have your silly ass believing that it's just you. That you just special like that.
Yeah. I used to steal drugs from my niggas. I went to jail. So that I didn't even go to jail for stealing drugs. I just know that's what I got my time for. So ever since I got out of prison, I make sure that I don't steal from niggas because what the fuck? Anytime I do a crime, I get pulled over, go to jail. So I can't do crimes. I can't steal. I can't kill. I can't do none of this shit because I can't get away with shit. Like it's over for me.
Yeah, when you live truth, it's impossible. Like the younger me would have got away with every fucking thing. The older me that knows the fucking the consequence of my actions, nope, won't get away with a fucking thing. Won't get away with a fucking thing.
The control of thought is actually the control of desire because we all want things. We want things, but let our minds get scattered. So if we actually want things, we will focus our minds. Most thoughts are scattered and focused on personal and fleeting desires until you gain control over your scattered thoughts. You won't realize how much they are in control of your life. So once again, learning that you must gain control over your scattered thoughts is one of the ways that you master your mind. So once again, any thoughts on this section in particular? Control of thoughts is the control of desire.
Yeah, it absolutely fits.
Yes.
It absolutely fits. Just because you can get distracted by a particular desire and whatever it is that you're doing that you're trying to focus on will be impossible for you to focus on because A, you're controlled by that desire, and B, you're not controlling the mind who actually has the desire within it. The desire within it. So it lines up because mastermind control, structure, order, understanding is on one side. On the other side is just the bare desire. And with the bare desire, is surrounded by complete and total chaos because your mind and your thoughts go in a million different directions because the only thing you can think about is actually obtaining that thing and how you're going to feel when you obtain that thing. Nothing else matters as far as doing the necessary work for you to get into a position to obtain that thing. No, it's just about the obtaining of that thing and then what you're going to feel when you get to obtain it, as opposed to controlling it, the want and the desire through course of action and structure and understanding these steps need to be taken first in order for me to be able to benefit from the actual thing that I'm setting out on.
Gotcha. AD.
I just feel like if you can always have a center of where things align to, then they just won't be shaking off course.
Facts. Yeah. I always talk about the second chapter in spiritual being having a human experience. I want to make like a video to that, but like centering yourself is one of the key ways that I use to like tap into my magic and tap into my manifestations. Like not being nothing but centered have really manifested a lot for me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like when you center, somehow you always in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
And plus, being centered, it gives you the best view in order for you to understand things that are coming in your direction anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in your trauma bag and shit is coming at you, then it's just woe is me anyway. Just pile on. You in your vengeance bag, then you just gonna add it to the fuel add it to the fuel that exists within the things that's making you mad anyway. But when you're centered, you can see that thing coming, you can see it developing before it gets there. Then when it gets there, you're already past it because it's not as important as it would be if you're not in control of your mind.
Gotcha. Control your mind. So we're gonna go through these last two parts because this one part is only one slide. But scattered thoughts in the local self. What does this mean? When the mind is clouded by small desires and fears concerning just the local self or the human self, it cannot reach its full potential. So, chakra work, understanding your astrology, doing your shadow work, coming into your spiritual truth, your spiritual destiny, like Jabri was saying earlier, turning yourself into a blade instead of a pancake flipper, a spatula. You know, being a local person, having ordinary mind, it's just you being a spatula. But when you understand who you are from a past life perspective, future life perspective, what you mean to the collective, what you mean to everybody around you, you start mobilizing yourself and changing and transforming yourself into who you truly are at a spiritual level. And the final point, creation of a world through the mastermind. What does this mean? The mastermind, which is the opposite of an ordinary mind, the opposite of a scatterbrain mind, creates its own reality, attracting conditions conducive to happiness, success, and achievement. So, your mastermind is your gateway to you being happy, successful, and achieving what you really want. In this self created world, the mastermind reigns supreme and shapes its own destiny. So that was chapter one, the mastermind. The next chapter, which is going to be next week, make sure you join the Discord to take part and to be held accountable in reference to what you want out of life. The next week, we're going to be talking about the mind master. So the link is in the description. You can click the QR code to join the Discord to take part in these conversations because that is the goal. That is what we're starting. In reference to this, we all collectively see this growing into being something real major and real big for everybody. And because we all see it, no matter what we're faced with, we're going to manifest it as a collective. And the way that we do it is through mastering our mind collectively. So, like I said, if you want to take part in this, please join the Discord and let us know what your goals are, what your dreams are, what your hopes are. How can we help you? One of the main ways that we can help you and you can help yourself is by mastering your mind and creating the world that you want to live in. I want that for you, and hopefully you want that for yourself. But in reference to this first chapter, what we've been talking about, what do y'all take away from it? And also, what is your intention moving into this next week? Like, what is the thing? What is your aim? What is your goal? And the chat, feel free to put it in the chat because we're gonna hold your ass accountable next week because we want it to happen for you more than you probably want it to happen for yourself.
I say what I took from this from the first chapter and this live too is first, before you do anything, before you attack anything, you have to attack it in the mind first. You have to gain the mentality and build that mental state to be able to achieve it. Because if you try to attack things from an uncontrolled mind, you will never solve or get done. It's always like you'll be jumping back onto Instagram every 5 minutes while you're at work. And the goal that I have in mind and I want to be held accountable for is the Discord. I really want to be impactful in Discord and help it grow very strongly and build a strong camaraderie in the Discord. You know what I'm saying?
I
say for me, I would say that this first chapter lends a lot of credence to the understanding that the mind is all and the universe is mental. I think it gives me an extreme amount of optimism and um, it's a frequency that I'm really enjoying. It's not a frequency that I think I'm around often, unless like I'm with my brothers. But like I enjoy this frequency. I appreciate this frequency. I'm grateful for this level of intention with so many people within the collective, with the collective as a whole. And if we're talking about intentions for this week, I would say my intent is to, after almost basically completing my second website, my intent is to truly tackle marketing this week, understand marketing from a entrepreneurial perspective, and that I dive headfirst into it like a child and soak it all up. That's my intent.
Ashe. Yeah, I really, like I said, for me, I took a day off today just to like spend time with my daughter and just really relax. I was just felt myself just being in bed, very relaxed, almost like not really sleeping, but just very relaxed and chill because I know that going into this week, there are like goals that I really want to accomplish. There are things that I really want to do in reference to like I don't know what I did yesterday or the year before. Any success that I've ever experienced, I'm gonna just throw it away and just come at it raw doggy, pause. And just act like I never knew anything and just kind of like remember the hunger that I had when I started the business or when I had good weeks or I had good months and really pinpoint some things that I've done to really grow my business and get better at those things. And also, as far as health, I just want to continue to improve my workouts, improve my cardio, and just like take it to another level. Like this winter when I was at the gym, I'm like I'm really not fucking around in this gym. Like I like building myself up, but then also just understanding that I am 40. So there are sacrifices that I need to make as far as my diet and nutrition, and then like just homeschooling my kids. Got to get tighter on that. And more or less, I live a very holistic life and it's very challenging. And I love that for me. And I don't want to be unstructured or drop the ball because I feel like it's a privilege to teach your children and work for yourself. So I don't want to like not be successful because then in that space there's a lot of things that I can't do. So just understanding what, how, and what and where I'm doing business wise with my kids and fitness wise is like shit that I'm not playing around with this week. And with all of that being said, definitely gonna be reading chapter 2, getting deeper into the science and the study, and not allowing my mind to drift and not allowing my mind to be uncontrolled. Because even if I do have to pay bills, even if I do need money, I need to focus on the things that's going to get me money and not imagine that I'm not going to get the money. I have a difficult problem with doing that. So I got to really fight against that.
Shay. Yeah, it's an exciting time, bro. The more people that get on this train, um, the bigger the possibilities. But even so, without any more people on this train, it's still an awesome understanding to get to this point with the collective of people, like-minded individuals operating off the same frequency. Um, all of those things matter. So, like, I'm wholeheartedly appreciative to you, brothers, for bringing this up, for starting this, and yeah, I'm all in, bro. Let's get to it.
Yeah, you can't do it alone. That's one thing I always realized, man. And when I got that instilled and really wanted to have a team and a team of spiritual people too, like really find those people who are initiating themselves and doing the work. That's going to be like the ones you're going to be doing the work with, man, and people who care about growth. Because I'm telling you, you just can't keep yourself accountable all alone. It's always somebody that always tell you, "Hey, man, you shouldn't be doing that while you're doing this, right?" Or, "Hey, did you do that thing yet?" Oh, and also when Breeze was talking about becoming a sword, I had really saw an anagram into that and made me think about it, and it was like another way to think about it for the people who had a hard time understanding becoming a sword. Think about this: it's also becoming your word.
Right.
It all fits because the word is also synonymous with the sword. It all fits.
Yeah, because your words cut into reality and bring into fruition with what you say. And it's like that sword cutting through your path, cutting things that don't serve you.
But also the Stoics, and the Gnostics, they believed in not fighting with actually physical things, actually fighting with your words.
Mm-hmm. And the saying too, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Mm.
So think about that. You live by your word, you die by your word.
And it'll make you think about the words that you're using in reference to the positive things, like the things that you're focusing on, and the negative things that you say. I can't stand this bitch. I wish I didn't live in this city. I da 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 da. All of the things you just passively say. Like I used to just say whatever, but you know, it's certain things that I don't say. It's certain things that I truly understand about the word. I just listened to Rick Ross like turn himself into a boss just by saying, I'm a boss. Like this nigga was a correction officer and now he's like a successful rapper. But I love music. So it's always the nigga to be a little bit dusty on his first mixtape, and then he get that record deal. Everything he talking about is how much money he got, you know. But in his first CD, he was talking about how he had money, but it didn't add up. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta fake it till you make it. That's the magical way of doing it. So what are you saying? Right? Are you saying I'm going to be a millionaire this year? Or are you going to say, man, inflation is high. I can hardly pay my bills. Right? You got to really think about it. And that's what they are trying to get you to say every single day. They want you to say how fucked up this country is and how bad it is and how you don't know left from the right. But at the same time, it's still people living healthy, successful, balanced, nutritious lives, but in reference to what they feel and what they believe in the culture and the people that they surround themselves with, it makes a real big difference in what you can begin to expect out of life. I've always organized people and I've always had groups of people, but I honestly didn't even know I've always been an 11th house son, but I wasn't really conscious. So what happened was I would bring people together and motherfucking the parasite niggas would just go fucking on all the girls. And I'd be like, well, why ain't we together? And I just look up and motherfuckers like, yeah, we married, hood. And I'm just like, wait a second, how's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, okay. But now I realize that it's a responsibility in organizing people, and it's like you can fuck up your life or you can actually take the information.
Well, nigga, didn't we have a nigga that married two broads at the same time?
Man, the girl was married, the dude was married, they married each other. I'm like, wait a second, we supposed to be organizing and doing
Yo!
But at the same time, you know, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
And
yeah. That was a hell of a lesson we got from that.
Oh yeah. Hell of a lesson. But with all that being said, I still got more shadow work to do. That's just what I realized.
Me too.
So,
every day shadow work, nigga.
So I'm gonna get to work and we're gonna come with more videos. Join the Discord. AD said he was gonna be more active on the Discord this week, so we got eyes on you, brother.
We got eyes on him. We got eyes, boss.
So let's all collectively keep AD accountable in the Discord by joining the Discord and see what's going on in the Discord and see what's popping this week.
Yeah,
some astrology videos. Hopefully, we can do some videos, some reaction videos or something for the collective this week. Things like that. So, what you saying?
If you don't see that nigga talking 2-3 hours, let him know he ain't talking 2-3 hours.
Yo, and you know what video game he playing too. So
you know what video game he playing, because that shit show up right on the Discord. Right on the Discord. You can't even lie about it.
You can't even say like you was playing Rainbow Six, my guy. So like let's keep it a buck.
No inspirational quotes today. I ain't getting no tarot cards. Like, I ain't get shit today, player. But you on that fucking game, though, player.
Eat my blueberries.
Peace to the tribe, man. Peace to the collective. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. We are the initiates. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Just like your favorite scam artist spiritualist would do.
Have a great day.
Peace to the tribe.
Initiates for the flame. You are now programmed to drop dem draws. Have you been maintaining your flame?